Rob, what is our fifth main topic?
John, our fifth main topic comes from Mikey Roberts. Apparently in France, if a studio releases a movie in theaters, they have to wait 17 months before they can make that movie available on their streaming platform or any other streaming platform for that matter. As a result, Disney is considering canceling the entire release of Black Panther 2 in France. Do you think it's possible Disney would actually refuse to release Black Panther 2 in France? What should Disney do? Is this law good or bad for theaters?
All right, man. Thanks a lot for sending that in. And, you know, the idea and the concept of theatrical windows has been a topic of discussion for at least since Dredd came out. Like for at least 10 years, we've been talking about it on AMC Movie Talk, Collider Movie Talk, the John Campea show. I mean, it's always been a big thing, and it's been moving a little bit. The standard release window was, what was it, 4 months? 3 months? 4 months?
90 days.
And now it's like 45 days. It's like a month and a half. And it's shrunk considerably. Now, that, of course, has caused a lot of concern, confusion, anxiety with exhibitors, with distributors, with everybody involved. France went one step further. They passed a law that I believe is called the media chronology rule that basically says, like the person in the email said, that if a movie plays in theaters in France, it cannot go to a subscription streaming service for 17 months. 17 months. This comes to us from the folks over at the Digital Fix who wrote the following. Black Panther 2 is set to be the finale of Phase 4, but according to Le Film Français via Books of P, the Marvel movie may miss out on a theatrical release in France due to the country's complex laws around theatrical releases and streamers. This is because, following France's updated media chronology agreement, French law mandates theatrically released films have to wait 17 months before being released on subscription-based streaming services. This means that if Disney released the superhero movie in theaters, the earliest the company would be able to drop the film on Disney Plus is April 2024, which, in Marvel years at least, is a very long time. In a statement to Film Francis, transcribed by the Direct, a representative of Disney said, "The media timeline forces us to evaluate our theatrical releases on a film-by-film basis. We have not yet made a decision on the release of Black Panther." And that, of course, comes to us from the Digital Fix. All right. This is very, very interesting. And before we as film fans become tempted to think, oh, whatever, it's just in France. There have been many trends that have happened in other countries first that later get adopted in North America. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen in this case. I'm not. I'm just saying it would be foolish to kind of ignore precedents that get set in other markets. May or may not ever become an issue here, but it'd be foolish to not at least pay attention to it because it could. So this is not the first time Disney's had to deal with this. They have actually had another film earlier this year that they decided to forego the theaters in France at all and just put it directly on streaming on Disney Plus in France instead, and only on Disney Plus in France. That's where one of those VPNs would really come in handy and say, yes, I am in France. Let me watch it on Disney Plus. So, but Black Panther, other than Avatar, is the most significant box office movie to come out for the rest of the year. Like, there's Avatar and there's Black Panther 2. All due respect for Black Adam, I'm very much looking forward to Black Adam, but Black Adam is not going to make Black Panther numbers, nor is it going to make Avatar numbers. All due respect, and I'm looking forward to it, but it's just not. So you got these two things. That is a huge deal for the people in France and for the exhibitors in France. And I guarantee you that exhibitors all around the world are kind of paying close attention to this to see what kind of possible trends this could or could not set. At the end of the day, Rob, this is what I think is going to happen. I don't think they're going to release it theatrically in France. And I do not think they're going to do what they did with that other film. I don't think they're going to instead just put it directly on Disney Plus in France because I think they're worried about piracy. Because you put out Black Panther 2 on Disney Plus in France, you're going to get flooded with highest of high quality rips of Black Panther 2 globally within 12 hours.
Yep.
So not only, I think, are we in a position right now where France is not going to get this movie in theaters, I don't think the people are going to get on Disney Plus. They're just going to have to go without and wait until it does come out in the rest of the world on Disney Plus. Could something like this create precedence for the rest of the world? It could in other markets. I don't know if it would in North America, but I mean, I think there are going to be a lot of jurisdictions and markets that are going to be paying very close attention to this. Rob, you see this. What do you think about this rule? Because honestly, I am an advocate for longer theatrical windows, but my definition of longer is like 2 months, 2.5 months, maybe 3 months. I think the 45-day window is a little bit short, not 17 months.
Hey guys, we want to thank the sponsor of today's episode, Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month. And now for the plot twist. I'm just kidding, there isn't one. Seriously, Mint Mobile just has premium wireless service from $15 a month. There's no trapping you into a 2-year contract or opening the bill to find these crazy fees. There's no luring you in with free subscriptions to streaming services that you'll forget to cancel and be charged full price for. I used to dread opening my phone bill every month because every time I was opening it, it was like playing roulette. I never knew what the actual price was going to be, and it always seemed to get higher. But not with Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text, plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And if you're worried about the complication of switching things over, don't. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your phone number along with all your existing contacts. So guys, get premium wireless from just $15 a month and no unexpected plot twists at mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Seriously, you'll make your wallet very happy at mintmobile.com/Campea.
Anyway, Rob, what do you think about the situation they're in? What do you think about this law in France? And then ultimately, what do you think is going to happen with Black Panther in this market?
Well, it's a tough spot for Disney to be in. I respect their situation, but God bless the French. Because, France, the whole French culture still believes in the importance of art. And art permeates from a meal, from clothing, fashion, to architecture, to cinema. I mean, the land of Cahiers du Cinema, where the great reviewers like Godard and Truffaut became filmmakers themselves. The first time I was in Paris, John, I was struck by, you could be wandering around a Paris neighborhood, you turn a corner, and there's a cinema there. And they were playing Casablanca. And
that's awesome.
You go into the cinema and it's this, it's this beautiful, it's not huge, but it's in a neighborhood, and there are people in there watching Casablanca, and no one's there's because that's what you do. Cinema is for going to the cinema and seeing movies, and they love, and that's what this is doing. It's preserving film as an art form. Look, the Americans are really great at getting rid of a pretense of art. Turn everything into, let's commodify it all. Let's make our money right now, which is fine. But at the end of the day, what is it about being a human being? It's all about, there's got to be some culture, some history, so I get that law. I appreciate their law. But, Disney's in a tough spot.
Yeah.
Because they're interested in making money. Black Panther costs a lot of money. They need to get their money back. I mean, French cinema itself, they're also preserving their own film industry, which is also vibrant, but they're not making $250 million blockbusters that need to open worldwide. Yeah. So it's it's a cultural difference, and I totally get it. I totally understand. I think what's going to happen is ultimately Disney will release Black Panther on their streaming service when we get it.
Yeah.
After because France is a vibrant market. I don't mean to piss the French off, but it's not a huge market. They could survive. They'd much rather get into China.
It's one of the most important European markets.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah, compared to the North American
because their culture, they're all film goers. So it's not an insignificant amount of money, but it's the kind of thing where I don't know if Disney wants to fight City Hall, because secretly I think Kevin Feige appreciates. He might not like it, but he appreciates what the French are trying to do about cinema.
Well, and listen, it goes beyond this particular law too, because you go all the way back. Look at some of the controversy that's been surrounding the Cannes Film Festival the last couple of years, where a number of streamers have wanted to bring their movies there, and the French are like, and I'm Canadian. I grew up with a lot of French. I had to say, no, no. You cannot play your movies here because you are not playing in the theater, right? So there have been a lot of Netflix has had problems with Cannes as well. And so it's going to be interesting to see where this goes, because you're right. France is one of the, if there's one country you have to think about that really appreciates art, you're probably going to say France.
France and Italy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, now I'm sure it's not as popular today as it should be, but I mean, the French, everything is art. I mean, my girlfriend's half French. Her mother is completely French. And like, if I eat something and I don't put it on a plate and organize it and put sauces and things, they get pissed. Like, you can't just eat soup out of the bowl you cooked it in. I'm like, why? It's less dishes. That's terrible. You need to put it in a real bowl and put peppers and spices in it, make it better. I'm like, baby, come on. No.
So I have a question though. So you can't release the film theater-wide in France, but then just geo-block it streaming, like they control if you stream it in some other country? That's where I'm confused.
No, so what is not at stake here is that Disney theoretically could release the film in theaters in France and then release it on Disney Plus 2 months later, except in France.
Right.
And Disney's like, well, we don't want to have to wait 17 months. Like, we have Disney Plus subscribers in France and we don't want to piss them off. So yeah, no, so it's not
So
like
better to get them earlier on the streaming than to do the theater.
Yeah,
Well,
see, they're not forbidden from putting it on Disney Plus in America if they put it in theaters in France. It's that you can't put it on Disney Plus in France. And
I mean,
that's what they're
Well, let me
really
ask you
about.
this, John. If you're Disney and you know that like you don't know how many subscribers you're going to get from Wakanda Forever because you've already got a lot of Disney Plus subscribers in France. But what if you're going to make 40 million at the box office in France? Do you take that 40 million?
If I'm Disney?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you wait.
Yeah. Listen. As much as
I
I'm
agree with
saying,
you 100%.
I don't think Disney's going to put this thing out in France like they are in the rest of the world. If I was there, because I mean, everybody knows Bob Chapek's not listening to Kevin Feige anyway, because the dude's not all there. But I mean, if I was there in Bob Chapek's, Star Chamber room, and he was putting up to a vote, I would say, listen, we're going to make tens of millions of dollars on this movie with a theatrical release in France. And in France, that's big. Tens of millions of dollars. We are not going to make tens of millions of dollars of releasing this on Disney Plus. I get it. We have Disney Plus subscribers. We have to service them as well, but they'll get it eventually. We put this thing in theaters, but Bob Chapek, of course, will not listen to me. So, nor does he return my calls. So I don't think that's going to happen. By the way, I love your French thing there. I remember I actually had to give my wife Anne French lessons once because my wife Anne, massive crush on the greatest mixed martial artist of all time, Georges St. Pierre, who is of course French Canadian. She goes, okay, but if I want to talk to him in French, what do I say? So I spent the afternoon to teach her how to say, bonjour, Georges. And she's, bonjour, Georges. Je m'appelle Anne. Je m'appelle Anne. And I just walked her through a first kind of conversation so she could go up to George St. Pierre and say, bonjour, George. Je m'appelle Anne. Comment t'appelles tu? I mean, so it was.
Dude, it works. We were at the American Cinematheque to see Amélie. And Jean-Pierre Jeunet, the
God,
director.
I love that movie.
Jean-Pierre Jeunet, the director, was there. And we had an original French poster. And it's how we kind of met. And I go, we're going to get this poster signed. And all these people are crowding around him. Elizabeth's like, we can't get down there. I'm like, I can't get down there, but you speak fluent French. And so she goes down there and everyone's surrounding him. And she's like, Mr. Jeunet in French. Blah, 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 blah. And of course he goes, oh, come through. And, it's a big French poster. And he signed it.
That's awesome.
There is benefits to knowing your French,
Buongiorno.
John.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this whole situation? Because listen, if it's going on in France, don't think for a second that it cannot spread, especially maybe to some other European markets. So this is a really interesting and evolving situation. What do you think ultimately is going to happen here? Do you think Disney might release it anyway in France? I kind of think that they won't, but maybe you think they will. Can you see some other way around it? Maybe some kind of technical loophole. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.